Liberal Viewer presents.
So, after President Obama announced earlier this month that he would no longer deport some immigrants who were brought here illegally as children through no fault of their own, Fox News broadcast a whole lot of stories not only questioning the president's authority to make that decision, but also using dishonest video editing to make it look like President Obama himself claimed he lacked that authority, as you can see, for example, from supposedly straight news anchor Megyn Kelly last Monday in this clip.
On Friday, President Obama announced that his administration will decline to deport some 800,000 young illegal immigrants, known sometime as Dreamers, named for the so-called DREAM Act that would have granted them a path to citizenship, but which Congress rejected. The president's move already raising some eyebrows since Mr. Obama was asked about granting this type of administrative relief for Dreamers a year ago, and here's what he said then.
You have the facts, number, dollars, and votes on the side of granting administrative relief for Dreamers. We are doing our part. It is time to do yours, Mr. President.
I just have to continue to say, this notion that somehow I can just change the laws unilaterally is just not true. We are doing everything we can administratively. But the fact of the matter is there are laws on the books that I have to enforce. And I think there's been a great disservice done to the cause of getting the DREAM Act passed and getting comprehensive immigration passed by perpetrating the notion that somehow, by myself, I can go and do these things. It's just not true.
So was the president right back in 2011, or is he right now?
Now, the problem with the contradiction that Megyn Kelly set up there between President Obama's recent action and what he said last September is that while President Obama did say he didn't have the authority to change the law, he went on in his very next sentence to say he also did have the authority not to deport otherwise law-abiding immigrants who were brought here illegally as children through no fault of their own, which you can see when you watch the rest of Obama's statement here.
There's been a great disservice done to the cause of getting the DREAM Act passed and getting comprehensive immigration passed by perpetrating the notion that somehow, by myself, I can go and do these things. It's just not true. Now, what we can do is to prioritize enforcement, since there are limited enforcement resources, and say, we're not going to go chasing after this young man or anybody else who's been acting responsibly and would otherwise qualify for legal status if the DREAM Act passed.
So in the full clip without the dishonest Fox News editing, President Obama actually said he could do exactly what he did this month, and Jon Stewart on The Daily Show was so outraged when he caught Fox News' Sean Hannity showing that same dishonestly edited clip of President Obama that, after showing the full clip to his viewers, he reacted like this.
You just cut Obama off just before he very clearly says that he can do the exact thing he just did, but which you said, he said, he's not supposed to. Mother***ers. You almost had me, Fox News. Almost had me, but then Vanoosh reverse gotcha.
Now, not only was this satirical news show on Comedy Central more truthful about President Obama's previous position on immigration than the supposedly straight news program on Fox News, but The Daily Show also did a better job of pointing out the actions of previous presidents using executive authority on immigration matters, as you can see in this clip.
To find examples of a president acting unilaterally on deportation policy to find examples of that, you'd have to go back as far as...
George W. Bush issued an executive order. The U.S. president has granted a reprieve to more than 3,500 Liberians who have been facing deportation from the United States.
All hail King George the Bush. Wow, other than George Bush, Bill Clinton, George H.W. Bush, and Ronald Reagan, no president in modern history has changed deportation policy through executive action. Except all of them.
And that's true, and if you want to read more about presidential authority on deporting immigrants, check out this letter signed by dozens of law professors explaining the legal basis of that authority that never really got a fair airing on Fox, and worse, even after The Daily Show lampooned Sean Hannity for that dishonest video editing on the Tuesday Night Daily Show, I kept seeing the same dishonestly edited video clip broadcast on Fox News, including several days later on the Saturday edition of the supposedly straight news program America's News Headquarters, which included this clip.
The president said a year ago that he couldn't authorize that kind of change. I want to play that sound right now really quickly for our viewers who may not be familiar with it. Let's hear what he had to say then.
There's been a great disservice done to the cause of getting the DREAM Act passed and getting comprehensive immigration passed by perpetrating the notion that somehow by myself I can go and do these things. It's just not true.
Okay, Juan, so a year ago he said that. He said that he couldn't do that. What changed a year later? People are saying this all smacks of presidential politicking in an election year.
No, I don't disagree that the relief President Obama gave to these young immigrants had a political aspect to it, though it may have more to do with trying to soften the blow from the Supreme Court's likely decision to uphold most of Arizona's anti-immigrant law, which will probably happen soon after I upload this video, but President Obama is a politician running for re-election who's supposed to be political, unlike the supposedly straight news programs on Fox, which have given me another example to add to the 30 others on my Fox News Bias playlist devoted just to dishonest video editing, which creates a pattern of lack of credibility, I think, but I want to know what you think. When supposedly straight news programs on Fox News continue airing video editing shown to be dishonest on The Daily Show several days before, should Fox News have any credibility? And regarding the Obama policy covered, what do you think of President Obama's decision to no longer deport some immigrants who are brought here illegally as children through no fault of their own, his decision to challenge Arizona's anti-immigrant law in the Supreme Court, and his general policy on immigration?
YouTube, you decide.